remembering those that perished on the sinking of the RMS Titanic on April 15, 1912. The information provided was obtained and used from findagrave.com. This video contains passengers with the last name starting with A. The remaining passengers will follow shortly. Anthony Abaying, age 41 of Ohio, died in the sinking of the Titanic. Anthony was a third-class passenger and his body was not recovered. A funeral was held, however there was not a casket. The next victim is Rossmore Edward Abbott, age 16, jumped from the deck, along with his mother and brother, as the Titanic was taking her final plunge. His mother landed in a collapsible, but Rossmore and his brother Eugene landed in the sea, both perishing. His body was recovered by the Mackay Bennett and buried at sea on April 24, 1912. His cenotaph is in Ireland at marker number 190. Rossmore had a brown overcoat on, gray pants, green cardigan, blue jersey and black boots. A watch, chain with a medal inscribed Rossmore Abbott on it, a pocketbook and 2 knives was found on him. The next victim is Eugene Joseph Abbott, age 13, jumped from the deck, along with his mother and brother, as the Titanic was taking her final plunge. His mother landed in a collapsible, but Eugene and his brother Rossmore landed in the sea, both perishing. His body was never recovered. His cenotaph is in Ireland. The next victim is Samuel Abelson, age 29, born in Ukraine, died in the sinking of the Titanic. Samuel was a second-class passenger and his body was not recovered. However, his wife, Anna, survived. The next victim is Moritz Nils Martin Adel, age 30, born in Sweden, died in the sinking of the Titanic. Samuel was a third-class passenger and his body was recovered by the Mackay Bennett and buried at sea on April 24, 1912. His cenotaph is in Ireland and is number 72. Moritz's occupation was a general laborer. The next victim is Richard May, aka John Adams, age 26, died in the sinking of the Titanic. Richard was a third-class passenger, traveling under the name of John Adams, to escape a failed relationship. His body was recovered by the Mackay Bennett. Richard's cenotaph is in Ireland and is number 103. He was buried at sea on April 24, 1912. His hair and mustache was light in color. He was wearing a gray suit, soft striped shirt and brown boots. Accessories included a silver watch, 1 nickel watch, 2 coin chains, pouch, 2 knives, $15 in gold, $3 in bills and coins and a purse. His third-class ticket number was 341826. The next victim is Johanna Persdotter Allen, age 40, was born in Sweden. Johanna and her brother, Johan, were third-class passengers on the Titanic. Both bodies were never found. The next victim is Farid Hussein Qasim Al-Mana, age 18 and born in Lebanon, was a third-class passenger. One cousin, age 11 and another, age unknown, were traveling with Farid. The youngest cousin and Farid both died in the sinking, and their bodies were never recovered. The oldest cousin survived. Farid's occupation was a farmhand. The next victim is Houssine El-Bamona, age 11, born in Lebanon. He was traveling with another gentleman to America. They were third-class passengers. The gentleman survived the sinking, but Houssine did not. Houssine's body, if recovered, was never identified. The next victim is Augustus Henry Aldworth, age 35, was a second-class passenger with ticket number 248744. He was employed by the wealthy Carter family as their chauffeur. The Carter family traveled first class and had their 25-horsepower Renault automobile on board the Titanic. Augustus was the father of 1 daughter. The next victim is William Albert Alexander, age 24, born in England. He was a third-class passenger and his body was never recovered. The next victim is Ilmari Rudolf Alhamaki, age 19, born in Finland. He was a third-class passenger and his body was never recovered. Ilmari's occupation was listed as a general laborer. The next victim is William Ali, age 24, from Argentina, was a third-class passenger with ticket number 3101-312. His body was later recovered by the McKay Bennett and listed as number 79. He was laid to rest on May 10, 1912. William's hair and mustache was dark. He was wearing a black coat, velvet vest, check trousers, green socks, and black boots. He had on a brass watch and chain. Articles found on him was a cigarette case, knife, and brass instruments. The next victim is Ahmed Ali, age 23, born in Syria, was a third-class passenger. His body was never recovered. Ahmed's occupation was a general laborer. The next victim is Suleiman Khalil Atta Allah, age 26, born in Syria. He was a third-class passenger and his body was never recovered. The next victim is William Henry Allen, age 38, was born in England. He was a third-class passenger and his body was never recovered. The boots shown here were found in his leather suitcase. William was a toolmaker by trade and was married. The next victim is the Allison family. Husband, Hudson Joshua Creighton, age 30. His remains were recovered by the McKay Bennett and is listed as number 135. Hudson owned his own stock farm. Wife, Bess Waldo Daniels, age 25, was chosen to get on a lifeboat. She chose to stay behind with her husband. Bess handed her son off to the nurse that was traveling with them, and they both survived. However, Bess held her daughter Helen. They both went down with the sinking and neither bodies was ever recovered. Daughter, Helen Lorraine, age 2, died in her mother's arms. She was the only child in first and second class to perish. The family was first-class passengers, and had just finished dining when the ship started sinking. The family has a cenotaph in Canada. The next victim is Owen George Allam, age 17, born in England. He was a third-class passenger with ticket number 1223, bound for New York to be united with his father. Owen's body was recovered by the McKay Bennett and taken to Boston on May 4, 1912. Owen had dark hair and was wearing a gray tweed suit. He had a gunmetal watch and chain, hairbrush, 2 knives, cigarette case, and a pocketbook. Owen's occupation was listed as a gardener. In the winter of 1989, the grave was desecrated and the cross was pushed off its plinth. The next victim is Mustafa Nasser Alma, age 19, born in Lebanon. His occupation was listed as a farm laborer. Mustafa boarded the Titanic as a third-class passenger. He perished in the sinking and his body was never recovered. The next victim is Albert Carvin Anderson, age 33, born in Norway. Albert had 9 siblings, was married, and had 2 sons. Albert was traveling to New York on a marine mission. He was a Marine second engineer. His body was recovered by McKay Bennett and is listed as number 260. And was buried in Canada. The next victim is the Anderson family. Husband, Anders Johan Anderson, age 39. He was a farmer and was quite well off. Wife, Alfreda Constantia Brogren, age 39. Her sister and husband both accompanied them on the Titanic. They both did not survive. Children are as follows. Sigrid Elizabeth, age 11, would have turned 12 the next day. Her sister Ingeborg shared the same birthday. Ingeborg Constantia, age 9, would have turned 10 the next day. Her sister Sigrid shared the same birthday. Etta Iris Alfreda, age 6. Sigvard Harold Elias, age 4. Ellis Anna Maria, age 2. The Anderson family were all third-class passengers, and their bodies were never recovered. The cenotaph is in Sweden. The next victim is Ida Augusta Margareta Anderson, age 38, born in Sweden. Ida was a third-class passenger and her body was never recovered. The next victim is Johan Samuel Anderson, age 26, born in Sweden. He just visited his parents and was returning home to Connecticut. Johan was a third-class passenger and his body was never recovered. The next victim is Paul Edvin Andreasson, age 20, from Sweden. Paul was a third-class passenger and his body was never recovered. The next victim is Frank Thomas Andrew, age 26, born in England, was given the name Thomas Francis Gribble. He was a second-class passenger and was traveling to Michigan. Frank's body, if recovered, was never identified. The next victim is Edgar Samuel Andrew, age 17, born in Argentina. Edgar was a second-class passenger. He was traveling to New Jersey to attend his brother's wedding. Edgar was originally booked to travel to New York on steamship Oceanic. Due to the coal strike, he was forced to rebook on the Titanic. Edgar wrote a letter to his friend Josie. She was planning on visiting him prior to the wedding. Edgar stated the following: "It really seems unbelievable that I have to leave a few days before your arrival, but there's no help for it. I've got to go. You figure, Josie, I am boarding the greatest steamship in the world, but I don't really feel proud of it at all. Right now I wish the Titanic were lying at the bottom of the ocean." The next victim is Minko Angelov, age 25, born in Bulgaria. Minko was a laborer and left his wife, 3 sons, and a daughter to travel to Chicago, Illinois. He was a third-class passenger and was accompanied by a fellow inhabitant of his home village. His ticket number was 349202. His body, if recovered, was never identified. The next victim is William Engel, age 30, born in England. He was a second-class passenger and his body was never recovered. William's occupation was a tile maker. The next victim is the Arnold family. Joseph Arnold, age 25, born in Switzerland. His occupation was listed as a general laborer. Joseph's body was never recovered. Josephine Franke Arnold, age 18, born in Switzerland. Her body, if recovered, was never identified. They left behind 1 son. Josephine's cousin accompanied them and they were all listed as third-class passengers. The cousin did not survive. The next victim is Ernst Axel Algot Aronson, age 24, born in Sweden. He was a third-class passenger and his body was never recovered. Ernst's occupation was listed as a general laborer. The next victim is Ramon Artigavesia, age 71, born in Uruguay. In 1871, Ramon survived the fire and sinking of the ship America, leaving him emotionally scarred. Finally able to overcome his fear, he decided to sail again and boarded the Titanic. Right before departure, Ramon's grandfather gave him an oar, dedicated with the words, "Knowing how to use it, you will never be hungry. Your ancestors have always survived thanks to the sea. This is your destiny, follow it." He was traveling to the United States before returning to Argentina. He wrote several letters to friends, expressing his concerns about being on the Titanic. Ramon's ticket number was PC17609 and his cabin number remains a mystery. His body was recovered by the McKay Bennett, listed as number 22, and shipped to New York and on to Uruguay thereafter. His cenotaph is located in Uruguay. The next victim is John Ashby, age 57, born in England. He was a second-class passenger and his body was lost in the sinking. His cenotaph is located in New Jersey. The next victim is Adola Asim, age 34, born in Syria. He was a third-class passenger and his body was never recovered. Adola's occupation was listed as a general laborer. The next victim is the Asplund family. Carl Oskar Wilhelm Gustafsson Asplund, age 40, born in Sweden. His body was recovered and listed as number 142. Carl was buried in Massachusetts. Philip Oskar, age 13, born in Massachusetts. His body was never recovered. Clarence Gustav, age 9, born in Massachusetts. His body was never recovered. Carl Edgar, age 5, born in Massachusetts. His body, if recovered, was never identified. The family was third-class passengers. Their mother, sister, and youngest brother survived the sinking. The next victim is Ali Assam, age 22, born in Syria. He was a third-class passenger and his body was never recovered. His occupation was listed as a general laborer. The next victim is John Jacob Astor IV, age 47, born in New York. An American businessman, he was on his honeymoon and his wife, age 18, whom was pregnant with his son. They were returning to New York when the ship sank. His wife and unborn son survived, but John did not. His body was recovered a week later and was listed as number 124. It is presumed that he was in the water when the first funnel fell and crushed him. His body is buried in New York, at the Astor Family Mausoleum. The next victim is Slayman Atalla, age 26, born in Syria. He was a third-class passenger and bought ticket number 2694. Slayman's body, if recovered, was never identified. His occupation was listed as a journalist in Canada. The next victim is Malaki Adela, age 17, born in Beirut. She was a third-class passenger and bought ticket number 2627, along with another person. Malaki's body, if recovered, was never identified. Her occupation was listed as a servant from Syria. The next victim is Albert Augustsson, age 23, born in Sweden. He was a third-class passenger and his body was never recovered. Albert's occupation was listed as a general laborer. If you like this content, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel at MeTime806. Thank you very much.